If you're a bond investor or have an allocation to fixed income in your portfolios, there are a number of concerns that keep you up at night. One of these concerns is inflation. It's for this reason we launched the M&G YouGov Consumer Inflation Expectation Survey back in 2013. This survey uses best practice questions developed by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. And we survey over 8,000 consumers globally. Consumers from the UK, consumers from Europe, and consumers from Asia. Importantly, we're not just asking about inflation, we're also asking them about their confidence in central banks and their ability to achieve price stability. We're also asking them about government economic policy and whether they think that they will be better off in the future. This has implications for central bank monetary policy, consumer spending, and of course, government economic policy. The results of the M&G YouGov Inflation Expectation Survey for the second quarter of 2015 will largely be comforting to central bankers in the UK, Europe, and Asia. That said, they'll want to keep a close eye on the decelerating trend that we've witnessed over the last few quarters of consumer inflation expectations. This is perhaps most evident in the UK, where long-term inflation expectations have been firmly anchored at 3% for the history of the survey, only for this quarter to see a fall in consumer inflation expectations over the long term to 2.5%. The reason central bankers are so concerned about falling inflation expectations, and perhaps inflation expectations being less well anchored than they have been in the past, is because a consumer that is expecting deflation going forward will put off purchases today in favour of cheaper goods and services in the future. That has ramifications for economic growth, particularly consumption, which is a major driver of GDP in the developed world. The huge economic event of the first quarter of 2015 was the ECB's decision to embark upon quantitative easing. This has manifested itself in the results of the second quarter 2015 M&G YouGov Inflation Expectation Survey. What we specifically did was ask consumers across Europe how confident they were that the ECB could achieve price stability. The picture was mixed. In Germany and in Italy, confidence was relatively high. However, those economies that are suffering, like Spain, tended to have a low confidence that the ECB could achieve price stability. This will be very, very interesting to the ECB Governing Council. In the UK, we've seen a trend of increasing confidence in the Bank of England's ability to achieve price stability since Mark Carney took the helm from Governor Mervyn King. Indeed, confidence in the Bank of England is now amongst the highest of the countries that we survey globally. Looking further afield, amongst the consumers that we survey, Singaporeans are actually most confident in the Monetary Authority of Singapore and its ability to achieve price stability, despite inflation being relatively high in Asia relative to Europe, the UK, and the US. Moving to Switzerland, the SNB's decision to break the peg with the euro has seen a fall in confidence in the SNB. However, it still remains amongst the highest levels that we have for our survey. Our survey asked over 8,000 consumers about how confident they are that their government is following the right economic policy. In Singapore, consumers reported back to us that they have a very high level of confidence in the Singaporean government and its pursuit of economic policies. Looking towards the UK, we saw government economic policy confidence rise markedly, and this could be a contributing factor to why the Conservatives achieved a majority in the most recent British election. Survey respondents reporting a lower level of government economic confidence include Austrian and French consumers. In France, this is particularly interesting given we are about to enter into an electoral cycle. If French consumers are worried about their prospects for jobs or worried about fiscal policy, then we may see a significant swing vote in the upcoming French elections. Inflation is currently very low across the developed world. We designed the M&G YouGov Inflation Expectations Survey to capture turning points in consumer inflation expectations. We want to monitor when the time will be that consumers start to push for higher and higher wages, when that pressure might start to feed through into inflation, and when central banks might act and hike interest rates. If you're interested in the survey or would like further information, please check out bondvigilantes.com, where we've written up a report analysing the data and the survey results. Alternatively, you could do this yourself, as we provide all the data online, so feel free to let us know any insights that you might have.